आज हम सीखेंगे यूआई पाथ में सीक्वेंस में स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट कैसे बनाए। जैसे यूआई पाथ में दो तरह का प्रोजेक्ट, जैसे एक होता है सीक्वेंस और एक होता है फ्लो चार्ट। तो यहाँ पे हम एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल लेंगे। यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे सीक्वेंस से एक हेलो प्रिंट करके कैसे देखेंगे। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। तो पहले हम यूआई पाथ स्टूडियो जो हमने इंस्टॉल किया है वो अपने सिस्टम में, उसको हम ओपन करेंगे। तो यहाँ पे देखिए, यहाँ पे दिख रहा है यूआई पाथ स्टूडियो। इस पे आप जैसे ही क्लिक करोगे ये इस तरह का यहाँ पे लुक वाइज दिखेगा स्टार्टिंग। चलिए अब यहाँ पे दिखा रहा है ओपन स्टार्ट टीम टूल्स सेटिंग हेल्प। तो यहाँ पे हमें स्टार्ट करना है और स्टार्ट एक ब्लैंक प्रोजेक्ट से करना है हमें। तो यहाँ पे ये देखिए, यहाँ पे स्टार्ट के अंदर यहाँ पे प्रोसेस है, वहां पे हमें क्लिक करना है। जैसे आप क्लिक करोगे यहाँ पे आएगा ऑप्शन न्यू प्रोसेस का, और यहाँ पे आपको नेम देना है और लोकेशन तो आपका ऑलरेडी सिलेक्टेड है, और आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन कुछ है तो आप डिस्क्रिप्शन डाल सकते हो। यहाँ पे नेम में मैं डाल रहा हूं हेलो प्रोजेक्ट, और लोकेशन सेम रहेगा। ये देखिए जैसे ही आपने डाला, अगर आप नाम के बीच में यहाँ पे कोई स्पेस या कुछ और डालते हो तो ये एरर यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, क्योंकि आप यहाँ पे ये बता रहा है कि इनवैलिड कैरेक्टर, क्योंकि हम जो स्पेस दे रहे हैं ये यूआई पाथ इसको एक कैरेक्टर समझ रहा है। तो आपको इसमें स्पेस नहीं डालना है, आप इसमें अंडरस्कोर यूज कर सकते हो, और विदाउट अंडरस्कोर यूज, ऐसे ही विदाउट स्पेस आपको यहाँ पे रखना है। तो चलिए हम यहाँ पे एक अंडरस्कोर यूज कर लेते हैं, हेलो अंडरस्कोर प्रोजेक्ट, और यहाँ पे हम लिख देते हैं दिस इज फर्स्ट वेलकम प्रोजेक्ट ऑफ सीक्वेंस। ठीक है, ये हमने लिख दिया। अब हम क्रिएट पे क्लिक करेंगे। इससे क्या हुआ, एक नया ये प्रोजेक्ट खुल जाएगा यहाँ पे। चलिए यहाँ पे लिख दे रेडी। अब ये रेडी हो गया है। यहाँ पे आपको मेन, ये यहाँ पे एक एरिया है जहाँ पे मेन है, स्टार्टिंग यहीं से होगा। लेफ्ट साइड में आप देखोगे यहाँ पे एक्टिविटीज है जो हमें यूज करना है अपने प्रोजेक्ट में। राइट साइड में यहाँ पे प्रॉपर्टीज है, और टॉप पे आपका जो रिबन है जहाँ पे ये आप रन सेव न्यू ये सब कमांड यहाँ पे है। तो चलिए अगर हमें यूज करना है पहले सीक्वेंस, तो सीक्वेंस में हेलो प्रोजेक्ट के लिए पहले हमें एक सीक्वेंस यहाँ पे देखिए, यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है ड्रॉप एक्टिविटी हियर। एक्टिविटी यहाँ पे लेफ्ट साइड में है। तो यहाँ पे एक्टिविटी ड्रॉप करने के लिए पहले हम सीक्वेंस में स्टार्ट करेंगे, तो उसके लिए हमें यहाँ पे सर्च करना पड़ेगा सीक्वेंस। यहाँ देखिए, यहाँ पे फेवरेट में दिख रहा है, और यहाँ भी दिख रहा है कंट्रोल वर्कफ्लो के अंदर, कंट्रोल के अंदर सीक्वेंस। तो हम यहाँ पे इसको ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप यहाँ पे कर देंगे। और एक और चीज, आप इसको राइट क्लिक करके इसको आप ऐड टू फेवरेट में कर सकते हो, ताकि नेक्स्ट टाइम आपको जब भी इसका यूज हो, आपको देखिए यहाँ मैंने यहाँ पे 4-5 कमांड को यहाँ पे डाल रखा है फेवरेट में। तो इस तरह से आप यहाँ पे राइट क्लिक करके किसी भी, जैसे मान लीजिए आपको क्लिक को करना है, आप राइट क्लिक कीजिए और ऐड टू फेवरेट कर दीजिए। तो नेक्स्ट टाइम से आपको यहाँ पे सर्च नहीं करना पड़ेगा या आगे जाके ढूंढना नहीं पड़ेगा, आपको सबसे टॉप में यहाँ पे दिख जाएगा। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे देखिए हमने यहाँ पे सीक्वेंस ऐड कर दिया। तो सीक्वेंस स्टार्टिंग में हम जब भी हम अगर सीक्वेंस प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करेंगे, कोई भी अगर नया प्रोजेक्ट बनाएंगे सीक्वेंस में, तो आपको सीक्वेंस यहाँ पे ऐड करना ही पड़ेगा। ये आपका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है। अब चलिए, अब हमें एक मैसेज दिखाना है कि वेलकम टू यूआई पाथ आरपीए ट्यूटोरियल। ठीक है, वेलकम प्रोजेक्ट। तो इसके लिए अगर हमें मैसेज दिखाना है स्टार्टिंग में, तो उसके लिए पहले हमें एक मैसेज बॉक्स चाहिए। तो मैसेज बॉक्स यहाँ पे आपको लेफ्ट साइड में एक्टिविटी में मिलेगा। तो मैंने यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी फेवरेट्स में डाल रखा है यहाँ पे मैसेज बॉक्स में। ये देखिए, आप इसको ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं। सीक्वेंस यहाँ पे होता है कि आप, जैसे आपने देखा होगा 1 2 3 4 5 6, इसको हम बोलते हैं सीक्वेंस। 1 के बाद 2 आएगा, 2 के बाद 3 आएगा, 3 के बाद 4 आएगा। ठीक है, या आप कोई काम करते हो तो आपको पता है कि हम इसी सीक्वेंस में काम करेंगे। मान लीजिए जैसे आप कोई भी ऐसा काम कर रहे हैं, जिसमें आपको पता है कि पहला आपको स्टेप ये करना है, फिर सेकंड स्टेप ये करना है, थर्ड स्टेप ये करना है, क्योंकि जब तक आप फर्स्ट स्टेप कंप्लीट नहीं करोगे सेकंड पे आप नहीं जा सकते हो। या आप गेम खेलते हो, गेम में भी आपको पता है कि पहला लेवल आपको कंप्लीट करना होता है, फिर सेकंड लेवल होता है, फिर थर्ड लेवल। तो इस तरह से सीक्वेंस में भी होता है कि सीक्वेंस में आप जैसे यहाँ पे मैसेज बॉक्स है तो पहले आपका ये रन होगा, फिर अगर आप एक और मैसेज बॉक्स यहाँ डालोगे, ये देखिए, तो पहले ये रन होगा, फिर ये मैसेज बॉक्स काम करेगा। तो इस तरह से सीक्वेंस में जो भी ऐड हुआ जो होगा वो एक के बाद रन होगा। तो चलिए हम देखते हैं। तो यहाँ मैसेज बॉक्स में आप जैसे क्लिक करोगे, राइट साइड में आपको प्रॉपर्टीज पे यहाँ पे आप दिखेगा कैप्शन और टेक्स्ट। कैप्शन में क्या होता है कि मैसेज बॉक्स में जो सबसे ऊपर जो दिखता है मैसेज बॉक्स में, वहां पे आपको क्या दिखाना है, तो वहां पे हमें दिखाना है हेलो प्रोजेक्ट। ठीक है, तो ये हम स्ट्रिंग लिख रहे हैं इसलिए आपको डबल कोट में डबल कोटेशन यहाँ पे लेना है। ये देखिए, आपको यहाँ डबल कोटेशन लेना है और आपको लिखना है हेलो प्रोजेक्ट। ठीक है, अब टेक्स्ट में आपको क्या दिखाना है मैसेज में, जैसे आपका अगर रन होता है तो टेक्स्ट में आपको क्या दिखाना है, तो आप वो भी स्ट्रिंग है तो आपको डबल कोटेशन यहाँ पे लेना है और आपको यहाँ पे लिखना है वेलकम टू UiPath RPA ट्यूटोरियल और आप यहाँ पर लिख सकते हैं। चलिए इतना करके हम यहाँ पे कर्सर कहीं रख देंगे। अब यहाँ पे आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं, यहाँ पे यह दिखा रहा है यहाँ पे वेलकम टू UiPath RPA ट्यूटोरियल। अब चलिए इसको हम रन करते हैं। एक और चीज मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, अगर यहाँ पे जैसे पहले हमने दिखाया था, चलिए मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ कि एरर से ये मैंने हटा दिया। अब देखिए जैसे आपने डबल कोटेशन हटा दिया, यहाँ पे इस तरह का वार्निंग मैसेज आ रहा है, इसका मतलब एरर है आपके प्रोजेक्ट में। तो पहले आपको ये एरर सॉल्व करना है, तभी आपका प्रोजेक्ट रन होगा। तो आप यहाँ पे डबल कोटेशन डाल दो और फिर देखिए एरर हट गया। तो अगर यहाँ पे कोई एरर नहीं है, मतलब आपका जो प्रोजेक्ट है वो करेक्ट है, आप इसको रन कर सकते हैं। तो चलिए इसको हम रन करके देखते हैं। रन के लिए आप यहाँ पे डिजाइन में जाके यहाँ पे रन पे क्लिक कर सकते हैं और आप अपने कीबोर्ड से F5 प्रेस कर सकते हैं। तो जैसे आप F5 प्रेस करोगे, एक ये देखिए यहाँ पे एक मैसेज बॉक्स खुल के आ गया। यहाँ लिखा हुआ है हेलो प्रोजेक्ट, क्योंकि मैंने कैप्शन में डाला था वहां पे मैसेज बॉक्स में, तो कैप्शन में जो डाला था यहाँ पे ऊपर दिख गया हेलो प्रोजेक्ट, और जो मैसेज हमने लिखा था टेक्स्ट में वो यहाँ पे दिख रहा है वेलकम टू UiPath RPA ट्यूटोरियल। तो ये हमने देखा कैसे मैसेज बॉक्स में मैसेज शो करें। अब देखिए सीक्वेंस के मैं आपको दूसरा बता देता हूँ कि सीक्वेंस में कैसे काम कर रहा है। तो चलिए एक और मैसेज बॉक्स हम यहाँ पे डाल देते हैं, ये देखिए, और यहाँ भी हम कैप्शन में ले लेते हैं सेकंड, आपको डबल कोट में लेना है सेकंड प्रोजेक्ट, और यहाँ पे टेक्स्ट में आपको डबल कोटेशन लिख देना है दिस इज आवर फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट। यहाँ पे हम नाम चेंज करते हैं, यहाँ पे हम लिख देते हैं फिर से ये है हेलो प्रोजेक्ट, और चलिए रन करते हैं। जैसे हम रन करेंगे क्या होगा, सीक्वेंस के अंदर जितना भी ये जैसे दो मैसेज बॉक्स में, तो स्टार्टिंग में जो फर्स्ट जो है ये रन होगा, वेलकम टू UiPath का मैसेज आपको दिखेगा, उसके बाद आपको ये वाला दिखेगा। तो चलिए रन करते हैं। यहां से देखिए फर्स्ट वाला जो मैसेज बॉक्स था यहाँ पे आ गया वेलकम टू UiPath RPA ट्यूटोरियल। जैसे आप ओके प्रेस करोगे दूसरा मैसेज बॉक्स रन होगा, यहाँ पे देखिए दिस इज फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट आ गया। तो इस तरह से सीक्वेंस में हम यहाँ पे जो भी ऐड करेंगे एक के बाद वो रन होगा। अब फ्लो चार्ट में जैसे हम फ्लो चार्ट बनाते हैं वैसा ही सेम फ्लो चार्ट का प्रोजेक्ट होता है। ऐसे फ्लो चार्ट सबसे अच्छा है, बेहतर है, आप उसको यूज कर सकते हैं। उसमें फ्लो चार्ट में क्या होता है, अगर आप कोई टफ प्रोजेक्ट आता है, कोई हाई लेवल ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट कोई आता है, तो आप फ्लो चार्ट का यूज वैसे करके आप अपना प्रोजेक्ट बना सकते हैं। तो वो इजी है। मैं रेकमेंड करता हूं कि फ्लो चार्ट ही सही है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे सीक्वेंस में अगर आपका प्रोजेक्ट बहुत बड़ा है तो यहाँ एक एक करके आपको ऐड करना पड़ेगा, वो आपके लिए बहुत टफ होगा, उसको मैनेज करना भी बहुत टफ होगा। लेकिन फ्लो चार्ट में वो इजी होगा। उसमें आप देख सकते हैं कि उसमें एक साइड में ट्रू, फॉल्स, फिर कंडीशन बीच में डाल सकते हैं, फिर डिसीजन बॉक्स के हिसाब से आप उसको आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं, तो वो इजी होता है। तो आज हमने सीखा सीक्वेंस में कैसे एक नॉर्मल मैसेज प्रिंट करें। आज हम सीखेंगे यूआई पाथ में कैसे फ्लो चार्ट का यूज करके हम एक स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट कैसे बनाए। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। तो पहले उसके लिए चलिए हम ओपन करते हैं यूआई पाथ स्टूडियो। अगर आपने इंस्टॉल किया है तो ये इस तरह से इसका ये दिखेगा यूआई पाथ स्टूडियो। इसको ओपन कीजिए। अब चलिए यहाँ पे ओपन हो चुका है। हमें फर्स्ट स्टार्टिंग में हमें यहाँ पे प्रोसेस पे क्लिक करना है। अगर आप कोई ऑलरेडी कोई प्रोजेक्ट बना हुआ है उसको ओपन करना चाहते हैं तो आप यहाँ पे ओपन पे क्लिक कर सकते हैं, और आप न्यू स्टार्टिंग करना आप कर रहे हैं तो आप प्रोसेस पे क्लिक कर सकते हैं। तो चलिए जैसे आप प्रोसेस पे क्लिक करोगे यहाँ पे न्यू ब्लैंक प्रोसेस का ऑप्शन आएगा। यहाँ पे आप अपने प्रोजेक्ट का नाम दे सकते हैं। जैसे मैंने दे दिया फ्लो चार्ट अंडरस्कोर न्यू प्रोजेक्ट। और यहाँ पे देखिए जैसे मैंने पिछली वीडियो में बताया था, जैसे आप यहाँ पे जो नाम डालोगे अगर सही होगा तो यहाँ पे ये टिक मार्क आ जाएगा कि ये सही है। यहाँ पे आप डाल सकते हो फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट और आप क्रिएट कर सकते हो इस तरह से। आप जैसे ही क्रिएट करोगे तो इसमें थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा, क्योंकि ये पूरा लोड करेगा। जितना भी इस पे डिपेंडेंसी होता है, जितना भी इसमें एक्टिविटीज होता है, वो पूरा कंपोनेंट इसमें वो ऐड करता है। तो चलिए यहाँ पे आ गया मेन का ऑप्शन आ गया, और यहाँ लिखा है ड्रॉप एक्टिविटी हियर। तो पहले हम यहाँ पे एक्टिविटी क्लिक करेंगे। यहाँ पे कभी कभी क्या हो सकता है अगर आप ओपन करते हो तो आपको ये प्रोजेक्ट दिखेगा। अगर आपको एक्टिविटी ओपन करना है तो यहाँ पे आपको दिखेगा नेक्स्ट में एक्टिविटीज। और आपको अगर फ्लो चार्ट का फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट हम बनाने जा रहे हैं तो इसके लिए आपको एक फ्लो चार्ट यहाँ पे ऐड करना पड़ेगा। मैंने पिछले वीडियो में बताया था कि अगर आप सीक्वेंस बनाना चाहते हो तो सीक्वेंस में आपको एक यहाँ पे सीक्वेंस ऐड करना पड़ेगा, और अगर आप फ्लो चार्ट का में प्रोजेक्ट बनाना चाहते हो तो आपको यहाँ एक फ्लो चार्ट ऐड करना पड़ेगा। तो चलिए यहाँ से एक्टिविटी में मैंने ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे फेवरेट्स में एक फ्लो चार्ट ऐड कर रखा है, तो यहाँ से आप ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप कर सकते हो। अदरवाइज आपको अगर आपने अभी तक इसको फेवरेट नहीं किया है तो आप यहाँ पे जाके सर्च कर सकते हो। तो कोई भी एक्टिविटी आप यहाँ पे जाकर सर्च करोगे ये यहाँ पे आ जाएगा। देखिए वर्क फ्लो के अंदर फ्लो चार्ट है, इसके अंदर ये जो है ये एक्टिविटी है, ठीक है। तो यहाँ से हम जाके इसको ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप करके यहाँ पे कर देंगे। तो जैसे हम फ्लो चार्ट यहाँ पे ऐड करेंगे, यहाँ देखिए ये स्टार्ट का ऑप्शन आ गया। तो फ्लो चार्ट जैसे आपने देखा होगा कि फ्लो चार्ट ऑलवेज स्टार्ट से शुरू होता है, ये स्टार्ट नोड है, यहाँ से शुरू होता है। तो अगर आपको इस फ्लो चार्ट को नाम चेंज करना है तो आप यहाँ पे डबल क्लिक यहाँ पे क्लिक कर सकते हैं, और यहाँ पे आप इसका नाम चेंज कर सकते हैं फ्लो चार्ट न्यू प्रोजेक्ट। चलिए हमने नाम यहाँ पे चेंज कर दिया फ्लो चार्ट का। और अब आपको अगर आप स्टार्टिंग करना चाहते हो सिर्फ एक सिंपल प्रोजेक्ट, जैसे आप कोई मैसेज बॉक्स दिखाना चाहते हैं एक फ्लो चार्ट में, जैसे मैंने पिछले वीडियो में दिखाया था सीक्वेंस से, तो आपको सिंपली आपको एक मैसेज बॉक्स यहाँ से लेना है। ये देखिए यहाँ पे दिख रहा है, और यहाँ आके आपको रख देना है। तो जैसे आप यहाँ पे रखोगे, ये देखिए यहाँ पे एक डाउन एरो टाइप का दिख रहा है। जैसे आप इसको यहाँ पे रखोगे ये फ्लो चार्ट से कनेक्ट हो जाएगा, ये स्टार्ट से कनेक्ट हो जाएगा यहाँ पे। इसका मतलब जैसे आप स्टार्ट करोगे अपने प्रोजेक्ट, इसको आप रन करोगे तो स्टार्टिंग आपका मैसेज बॉक्स ही होगा, ठीक है। अब अगर आपको कुछ यहाँ पे शो करना है मैसेज बॉक्स में, तो आप मैसेज बॉक्स पे यहाँ पे क्लिक करना है, राइट साइड में प्रॉपर्टीज पे जाना है, और यहाँ पे आपको कैप्शन में लिख देना है डबल कोटेशन में क्योंकि हम स्ट्रिंग लिखने जा रहे हैं, फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट, ठीक है। और टेक्स्ट में हम चाहते हैं कि मैसेज में आए कि दिस इज फर्स्ट फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट। अब देखिए, अब यहाँ पे जो ऑप्शन पहले आ रहा था यहाँ पे वार्निंग का, वो हट गया। इसमें मैं आपको बता दूं कि जैसे ही आप इसको रन करोगे तो यहाँ पे मैसेज में आपको दिखेगा दिस इज द फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट ऑफ, जो भी हमने यहाँ पे टेक्स्ट में लिखा है, तो दिस इज द फर्स्ट फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट यहाँ मैसेज में आएगा। और आपके टाइटल में जो सबसे ऊपर जो मैसेज बॉक्स में होता है वो लिखा होगा फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट। तो चलिए इसको हम रन करके देखते हैं। आप अपने कीबोर्ड से F5 प्रेस कर सकते हो। अब ये देखिए यहाँ लिख क्या रहा है, फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट। जो टाइटल हमने डाला था, कैप्शन डाला था, कैप्शन ऊपर यहाँ दिख रहा है, और जो हमने जो टेक्स्ट में डाला था वो टेक्स्ट यहाँ पे आ रहा है, ठीक है। तो ये हुआ हमारा एक सिंपल मैसेज शो करना। अब हम देखते हैं, चलिए इसमें हम एक फ्लो डिसीजन एक डाल के देखते हैं। एक बॉक्स होता है, एक एक्टिविटी होता है, यहाँ डाल के देखते हैं कि वो कैसे काम करता है। तो चलिए पहले इसको हम डिलीट करते हैं और यहाँ से हम सर्च करेंगे फ्लो डिसीजन। यहाँ देखिए यहाँ पे आ रहा है। अब इसको हम यहाँ पे आके ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप कर देंगे यहाँ इसके सामने, ये जुड़ गया। ये डिसीजन है। जैसे आपने फ्लो चार्ट अगर आप बनाए होंगे तो वहां पे आपको दिखता है कि डिसीजन में क्या होता है कि अगर ये कंडीशन मीट होता है आपका ये, तो आपको ट्रू में ये मैसेज दिखाना है, फॉल्स में ये मैसेज दिखाना है। या तो आपका कंडीशन अगर मीट हो रहा है तो ट्रू में आपको नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या करना है और फॉल्स में क्या करना है, ठीक है। तो चलिए यहाँ पे यहाँ देखिए, आप फ्लो डिसीजन में यहाँ पे आप डिसीजन बॉक्स में यहाँ पे जो डिसीजन डालना है आप डाल सकते हो, और यहाँ ट्रू में जो मैसेज दिखाना है वो दिखाएंगे हम, और फॉल्स में जो करना है वहां पे हम कर सकते हैं। तो चलिए यहाँ पे डिसीजन बॉक्स में हमें क्या करना है, इसमें कि हमें एक वेरिएबल लेना है जिसमें कोई नंबर होगा, और उसको हम दिखाएंगे कि ये नंबर अगर ये वेरिएबल में स्टोर है, ये अवेलेबल है, तो ये ट्रू है, अगर अवेलेबल नहीं है तो फॉल्स है। तो हम यहाँ पे डिसीजन बॉक्स पे क्लिक करेंगे और यहाँ पे प्रॉपर्टी में जाएंगे और कंडीशन में लिख देंगे हम वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1। ये हमारा कंडीशन हमने डाल दिया कि अगर, इफ कंडीशन आप सोच सकते हो, इफ वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1, तो यहाँ पे ट्रू में क्या होगा, तो ट्रू में हम एक मैसेज दिखाएंगे। चलिए एक मैसेज बॉक्स यहाँ लेते हैं और यहाँ पे आप इसके सामने आप छोड़ोगे तो डायरेक्टली ऑटोमेटिक कनेक्ट हो जाएगा। ये देखिए यहाँ पे कनेक्ट हो गया। और एक और चीज मैं आपको सिखा देता हूँ कि आप डायरेक्ट यहाँ पे जहाँ भी रखना है आपको अपने मैसेज बॉक्स को यहाँ पे रख सकते हैं। और यहाँ जैसे आप देखोगे यहाँ पे एक बॉक्स टाइप का स्मॉल बॉक्स यहाँ पे दिख रहा है, ये देखिए, ये इसका मतलब इसके थ्रू इसमें मैसेज बॉक्स से कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं। ये देखिए आप यहाँ भी कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, यहाँ भी कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं। ये 4 ऑप्शन है। तो चलिए हम इसको यहाँ से खींच के और यहाँ पे कनेक्ट करते हैं। ये देखिए कनेक्ट हो गया। और यहाँ पे अभी एरर दिख रहा है क्योंकि हमने इसमें टेक्स्ट नहीं डाला है। यहाँ पे देखिए लिखा है मैसेज में कि वैल्यू फॉर ए रिक्वायर्ड एक्टिविटी आर्गुमेंट टेक्स्ट वाज नॉट सप्लाइड। तो चलिए इसको हम डालते हैं टेक्स्ट में। टेक्स्ट में हमें लिखना है तो दिस इज ट्रू। अगर कंडीशन हमारा यहाँ पे कंडीशन हमने डाला है कि यदि वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1 होता है तो ट्रू में क्या होगा, मैसेज एक आएगा जिसमें लिख के आएगा दिस इज ट्रू। यहाँ पे हम लिखते हैं ट्रू मैसेज बॉक्स। इसको हम कॉपी कर लेते हैं नेक्स्ट टाइम के लिए। चलिए एक और मैसेज बॉक्स लेते हैं और यहाँ पे सिंपली हम यहाँ पे ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप करके यहाँ छोड़ देंगे, हम कोई कनेक्ट नहीं करेंगे। तो ये ऑटोमेटिक यहाँ पे कनेक्ट हो गया। अब आप जहाँ जहाँ खींचोगे उसके हिसाब से ऑटोमेटिक ये बन जाएगा। देखिए ये देख रहे हैं आप, ये अपने आप जो एरो बन रहा है ये अपने आप जहाँ भी आप घुमाओगे वैसे कनेक्ट होते जाएगा। हम यहीं पे छोड़ देते हैं। चलिए ये देखिए कनेक्ट हो गया। अब यहाँ जाके हम ये फॉल्स का है, यहाँ लिख रहा है देखिए फॉल्स, और ये ट्रू। ट्रू वाला हमने लिख दिया दिस इज ट्रू, और फॉल्स में लिख दिया हमने ये कैप्शन में लिख देते हैं हम फॉल्स मैसेज बॉक्स, और यहाँ पे हम लिखते हैं दिस इज फॉल्स। ठीक है, अब इसको हम रन करते हैं। चलिए देखते हैं। यहाँ पे अभी एरर दिखा रहा है, द वर्क फ्लो हैज वैलिडेशन एरर, रिव्यू एंड रिजॉल्व फर्स्ट। तो यहाँ पे एरर दिखा रहा है कि हमने यहाँ फ्लो डिसीजन लिया है वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1। तो यहाँ आपको क्या करना है, एक वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर करना है। तो उसके लिए आपको यहाँ पे नीचे आप देखोगे यहाँ पे वेरिएबल पे आपको क्लिक करना है, और यहाँ पे क्रिएट वेरिएबल का ऑप्शन आ रहा है। आपको जैसे इस पे कर्सर रखोगे ये वेरिएबल 1 बन गया। इसमें आप इसको नाम भी चेंज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हमने डिसीजन में यूज किया है वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1। यहाँ देखिए, यहाँ दिख रहा है वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1, इसलिए हम यहाँ पे वेरिएबल हम लेंगे सिर्फ वेरिएबल 1, और हमारा जो टाइप होगा वो होगा इंटीजर, क्योंकि हम यहाँ पे 1 पास करेंगे। तो 1 क्या होगा, इंटीजर होगा। हमने यहाँ पास कर दिया। अब चलिए, अब हम रन करते हैं, देखते हैं एरर आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है। रन कर दिया हमने, अभी एरर कोई नहीं आया है, इसका मतलब ये काम कर रहा है। यहाँ लिख रहा है दिस इज फॉल्स, क्यों? क्योंकि हमने यहाँ पे कोई वैल्यू पास नहीं किया है। तो चलिए यहाँ पे पास करते हैं वेरिएबल 1 में, हम यहाँ पे एक वैल्यू पास करते हैं 1। अब इसको हम रन करेंगे तो ये क्या करेगा, स्टार्ट पे पहले जाएगा और यहाँ पे डिसीजन चेक करेगा, और डिसीजन में चेक करेगा इफ वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1, तो ये ट्रू में जाएगा और मैसेज लिखेगा दिस इज ट्रू। और अगर 1 अवेलेबल नहीं हो रहा है, मैच नहीं हो रहा है, 1 इक्वल टू 1 नहीं हो रहा है, तो ये मैसेज बॉक्स में आएगा दिस इज फॉल्स। तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि हमने ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे 1 पास कर दिया है वेरिएबल 1 में, तो ये कंडीशन मीट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये यहाँ पे 1 हमने ऑलरेडी डाल रखा है। तो ये मैच करेगा वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1। चलिए इसको हम रन करके देखते हैं। अब आएगा दिस इज ट्रू, ये देखिए आ गया दिस इज ट्रू। अब चलिए हम फॉल्स मैसेज में दिखाते हैं कि फॉल्स में कैसे आएगा। यहाँ पे हम इसको 2 प्रेस करते हैं, यहाँ पे 2 डालते हैं। अब ये जाके कंडीशन में चेक करेगा यहाँ पे वेरिएबल 1 इक्वल टू 1 है कि नहीं। तो वेरिएबल 1 में हमने डेटा क्या डाला हुआ है, 2 डाला हुआ है, तो ये चेक करेगा 2 इक्वल टू 1 नहीं, तो ये फॉल्स में जाएगा और यहाँ पे मैसेज आएगा दिस इज फॉल्स। तो चलिए देखते हैं, ये देखिए दिस इज फॉल्स। ठीक है, तो हमने ये क्या किया था, ये वैल्यू डिफॉल्ट वैल्यू हम यहाँ पे दे रहे हैं। ठीक है, आप यहाँ पे यूजर से इनपुट बॉक्स यूज करके यूजर से आप इनपुट करा सकते हैं और उसको वेरिएबल में स्टोर कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, आज हमने सीखा फ्लो चार्ट का यूज करके कैसे हम कोई नॉर्मल मैसेज यहाँ पे दिखा सकते हैं, और हमने यहाँ पे फ्लो डिसीजन बॉक्स का भी यूज किया इफ कंडीशन डाल के, कैसे अगर हम ये कंडीशन मीट होता है तो ट्रू मैसेज में कैसे क्या आएगा और फॉल्स में क्या मैसेज आएगा। आज हम सीखेंगे हाउ टू यूज सीक्वेंस इन फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट इन UiPath। सीक्वेंस अभी तक आपने देखा है, सीक्वेंस हम अलग यूज करते हैं, फ्लो चार्ट का अलग यूज करते हैं, लेकिन आज हम सीखेंगे कि फ्लो चार्ट का प्रोजेक्ट बनाते हुए हम उसमें सीक्वेंस एक्टिविटी का भी यूज कैसे करें। ठीक है, तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। पहले हम एक नया फ्लो चार्ट ले लेते हैं। यहाँ पे न्यू में जाके एक फ्लो चार्ट लेते हैं यहाँ पे, और यहाँ पे हम लिखते हैं फ्लो चार्ट सीक्वेंस। ये आपका प्रोजेक्ट का नाम देते हैं हम फ्लो चार्ट सीक्वेंस। यहाँ पे हम क्या करते हैं, एक इनपुट बॉक्स ले लेते हैं नॉर्मली चेक करने के लिए। एक इनपुट बॉक्स लेते हैं, एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल हम लेंगे। एक इनपुट बॉक्स चाहिए हमें यूजर से वैल्यू पास कराने के लिए। तो यहाँ पे हम टाइटल में लिख देते हैं एंटर नेम, और लेबल में लिख देते हैं प्लीज एंटर योर नेम। यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे, यूजर से हम नेम पास करवाएंगे यूजर से। यहाँ पे जब इनपुट बॉक्स में यहाँ पे आएगा प्लीज एंटर योर नेम, अगर यूजर नाम अपना एंटर कर रहा है और वो कंडीशन से मैच हो रहा है तो ये ट्रू में दिखाएगा दिस इज ट्रू, और फॉल्स में मैसेज में दिखाएगा दिस इज फॉल्स। तो चलिए इसके लिए हमने यहाँ पे टाइटल और लेबल में नाम यहाँ पे हमने ऐड कर दिया। अब एक हम वेरिएबल क्रिएट करते हैं, यहाँ वेरिएबल में जाके एक लेते हैं नेम। नेम वेरिएबल यहाँ पे स्ट्रिंग रहेगा, और यहाँ पर रिजल्ट में जाके हम नेम लिख देंगे। ये लिखना बहुत ज़रूरी है क्योंकि ये आप यहाँ पे रिजल्ट में नेम नहीं यहाँ पे नहीं डालोगे तो ये आपका जो भी रिजल्ट जो इनपुट बॉक्स से जो पास होगा वो यहाँ पे स्टोर नहीं हो पाएगा। अब चलिए एक हम डिसीजन बॉक्स लेते हैं, फ्लो डिसीजन, क्योंकि फ्लो चार्ट में इफ़ कंडीशन जो डिसीजन होगा वो फ्लो डिसीजन में ही काम हो पाएगा, काम करेगा सही। और यहाँ पे हम कंडीशन चेक करते हैं, ये देखिए राइट साइड में कि इफ नेम इक्वल टू मनीष पांडे, तो एक मैसेज बॉक्स यहाँ पे दिखाएंगे ट्रू में कि अगर इनपुट बॉक्स से जो नाम पास हुआ है वो मनीष पांडे है तो यहाँ पे एक मैसेज आएगा हाय मनीष पांडे, और फॉल्स में अगर नाम मैच नहीं हो रहा है तो फॉल्स में आएगा यू आर नॉट मनीष पांडे। ठीक है, तो चलिए मैसेज बॉक्स ट्रू वाला में उसमें हम यहाँ पे डाल देते हैं टेक्स्ट में कि हाय मनीष पांडे, और यहाँ राइट साइड जो फॉल्स आता है इसमें हम लिख देंगे यू आर नॉट मनीष पांडे। चलिए इसको हम रन करके देखते हैं। यहाँ आ रहा है प्लीज एंटर योर नेम, हम डालते हैं मनीष पांडे। ये देखिए हमने ओके कर दिया, ये ट्रू का मैसेज आ गया क्योंकि ये कंडीशन यहाँ पे मैच हो गया। तो यहाँ पे आ गया हाय मनीष पांडे। तो ये तो रहा फ्लो चार्ट का यूज। अब चलिए हम दिखाते हैं इसमें सीक्वेंस कैसे यूज करें। तो पहले हम ये एक मैसेज बॉक्स को हम यहाँ से हटा देते हैं और एक सीक्वेंस यहाँ से ले लेते हैं, और ये सीक्वेंस को हम ट्रू का एरिया में यहाँ पे कंडीशन में यहाँ छोड़ देते हैं कि जैसे यहाँ पे कंडीशन मेट होगा ये इस सीक्वेंस में जाएगा, और यहाँ पे जो स्टेप्स होगा जो एक्टिविटी होगा वो उसको एग्जीक्यूट करेगा। तो चलिए यहाँ पे हमें अगर कुछ डालना है तो उसके लिए हमें इस पर डबल क्लिक करना पड़ेगा, और जैसे ही डबल क्लिक करेंगे ये अलग से एक यहाँ पे सीक्वेंस बन के आ गया। अब यहाँ पे हम जो मैसेज बॉक्स हमारा जो ट्रू वाला था हाय मनीष पांडे, ये यहाँ पे आ जाएगा। अब चलिए इसको हम अपने जो मेन प्रोजेक्ट था यहाँ पे, ये देखिए ये है स्टार्ट इनपुट, और यहाँ पे सीक्वेंस आ गया, और ये फ्लो डिसीजन है, और ये मैसेज बॉक्स है। चलिए इसको रन करते हैं। यहाँ पे हम लिखते हैं मनीष, तो लिख रहा है यू आर नॉट मनीष पांडे, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ मनीष लिख के आ रहा है। अब एक बार हम फिर से रन करते हैं। अब हम लिखते हैं कंप्लीट नेम, क्योंकि ये कंडीशन पूरा मैच करेगा। चलिए इसको हम एंटर करते हैं, यहाँ लिख के आ रहा है हाय मनीष पांडे। ठीक है, तब आपने देख लिया कैसे हम फ्लो चार्ट प्रोजेक्ट में सीक्वेंस का यूज कैसे करें। तो हमने यहाँ पे जस्ट सीक्वेंस एक्टिविटी यहाँ पे डाल दिया, उस पर डबल क्लिक करके आगे का हम यहाँ पे प्रोसेस कर सकते हैं। इसके बाद भी आप एक और मैसेज डाल सकते हो, जैसे मान लीजिए आपको एक और मैसेज बॉक्स दिखाना है तो एक मैसेज बॉक्स आप यहाँ पे ले सकते हो। हाय मनीष पांडे के बाद एक और मैसेज आना चाहिए, जैसे उस पर ओके हो उस मैसेज बॉक्स पे, तो यहाँ पे हम लिख देते हैं वेलकम टू UiPath RPA चैनल। ठीक है, और कैप्शन में लिख देते हैं वेलकम। अब चलिए, अब क्या होगा, जैसे हम रन करेंगे, अगर कंडीशन वहां से मैच हो रहा है तो ये पहला मैसेज बॉक्स दिखाएगा हाय मनीष पांडे। उसके बाद जैसे हम उसको ओके करेंगे तो यहाँ पे नेक्स्ट मैसेज आएगा वेलकम टू UiPath RPA चैनल। चलिए रन करके देखते हैं हम। यहाँ पे आ रहा है प्लीज एंटर योर नेम, मैं अपना डाल रहा हूँ यहाँ पे। यहाँ आ गया हाय मनीष पांडे। आप जैसे इस ओके प्रेस करोगे ये दूसरा आ गया वेलकम टू UiPath RPA चैनल। ठीक है, तो इस तरह से आप फ्लो चार्ट में सीक्वेंस का यूज करके उसमें एक के बाद एक एक्टिविटी आप इसमें यूज कर सकते हो। तो आज हमने सीखा फ्लो चार्ट में कैसे सीक्वेंस का यूज करें। Today we are going to learn about state machine in UiPath. We learn about all the activity of a state machine like state, final state, and we will see how to create state machine, how to use all this like activity, state, final state, transition, entry section, trigger, condition, whatever will be there in a state machine we will learn today. We will also take few examples of simple state machine with single transition and state machine with multiple transitions, one or more than one state activity. I am going to make this topic very easy to understand, easy to learn for you guys. UiPath state machine. State machine is a type of workflow. It provides a modeling style with which you can model your workflow in an event-driven manner. It goes into a state when it is triggered by an activity, and it exits that state when another activity is triggered. It means this state machine is one type of workflow. You have already read about the type of workflow like sequence, flow chart, and now this is the state machine. This is also one type of workflow. So it provides a modeling style same as flow chart, but here we'll get something different. So it provides a modeling style with which you can model your workflow in a event driven manner. It goes into a state when it is triggered by an activity. It goes from one state to another state based on the trigger, based on the condition like transition, and it exits that state when another activity is triggered. A state machine workflow must have one and only one initial state. So whenever we are going to create a state machine workflow, then in that workflow we should have one initial state, only one. Each state activity must have at least one transition. You can see here in the screenshot we'll have the start state activity, and then these are the transitions like true, false. So this is our condition, and then another state, then final state. Next, how to create a state machine workflow. So I will show you how to create a state machine workflow with two methods. First, when you start a new process, then you must use a state machine activity as a state machine scope to start using a state machine activity. So same as Excel application scope, when you are going to use any Excel related application, any Excel related activity, then you should use Excel application scope so that you can put all this Excel related activity inside that scope. So here same, if you are going to start as a new process, I am not talking about the workflow, I am talking about the process, new process. So whenever you are going to start a new process, then you must use a state machine activity as a state machine scope. Here you can see this is the state machine activity you have to use inside your project. When you create a new file as a state machine, it adds state machine activity automatically. So whenever you are you have already created one process, and now you are going to add as a new file as a state machine, then it will add a state machine activity automatically. You will not have to use a state machine from the activity section. So it will show like this. When you go to design, then from the new we get 4 workflow: sequence, flowchart, state machine, and global handle. So here if you click that state machine, then that will be added automatically. So I'm going to show you how to do that and how to create the state machine workflow. So first let me open UiPath Studio so that I can show you a starting. So here I am going to first open UiPath Studio. So let's suppose you have made your mind that you are going to work on state machine. So first time when you will open the UiPath Studio, then it will show like this. You have to take a process. First time when you are going to start with the blank project, then you click on process. You will write here that you are going to work on state machine project, create here. So what will happen when we will create a blank project, then it will just show as a blank area here. You have to drop the activity here. Now you cannot put any state machine activity here. Let me show this state. So here we have list of activity inside the state machine workflow. So this is state machine. You can say this is works as a workflow, as a scope. So you have to take this activity. You have to drag and drop here, and then you can from here you are getting a start node, and then you have to put start and all this thing. And if you are not using this, I'm going to show you here. If you are not using this, and if you are directly going to use another activity of a state machine, like starting from the state, then it will not allow you to drop the activity here. If you are going to use the final state, then also it will not allow you to add the activity here. It means you will have to use this state machine activity to use state machine activities, like a state activity and final state activity, like this, right? So here you can drag and drop as many as state machine activities, right? Now you can do that. Second thing, if you are going to take a new workflow, new file as a state machine here, and you are writing this state machine 1 or anything, then it will automatically add this as a state machine type here, and then you can use your activity anywhere. You can put here, you can drag and drop here. So by this way we can create a state machine workflow. Next, the start machine has the start node automatically added like flowchart. You can see here, whenever we create a start machine or whenever we add a start machine workflow activity in our project, then we get this start node automatically added in that one. Let me show you here. First time when I have drag and drop this state machine activity, and then if you click that, then you will get a start machine added here. It means it will same as flowchart. Here also you will get option to connect the node from one to another activity. Now the next thing, state machine activities. Here we will learn all these activities like state, final state. So first we learn about the state. A state represents a state in which a state machine can be in. A state machine workflow must have one and only one initial state. So this state means this can be put inside the state machine, and here we'll use this state to define our trigger, to define our action. Everything we can put here in the state. So a state machine workflow must have one and only one initial state. How to configure a state as a initial state? So here we learn how to configure a state as an initial state. So here you have seen that a state machine workflow must have one and only one initial state. It means we cannot add a state, we cannot add more than one state as an initial state, because you know that initial state will be always one. It means a starting state. To configure a state as an initial state, right click the state and select set as initial state, or initial state can be added by dragging a line from the start node at the top of the workflow to the desired state. Let me show you from the UiPath Studio. Here we have to take this state and we have to drag and drop here. Once it will show this option, then we can drop here and then it will automatically connect this. And now you can see here, now this will be our initial state, and then after that you can use more than one state here. So this will be our initial state, and after that you can use more than one state activity. Or the second way, you have to drag and drop here, and then you have to right click and set as initial state. So it will be automatically added this node here. Or the next is, you can go here, you can mouse hover here, and then you can select this node, you can connect here. So by this way we can configure our state as a initial state. Next, the state activity contains three sections: entry, exit and transition. Here you can see in the screenshot, this state activity has three sections: first entry, second exit, and third is transition. So I am going to tell you about all these three sections. First is entry section. It specifies the action that occurs when this state is transitions to. When a workflow instance enters a state, any activity in the entry action execute. So whenever we will run our project, we'll run our this workflow, then whatever the activity will be there in this entry section, that will be executed. It means this is our first step. Second is exit section. An activity executed when exiting the state. When a transition to another state is confirmed, the activity in the exit action are executed, even if the state transition back to the same state. Whenever we are going to exit this state, or it means this state machine is going to exit the state, then it executes this area, this exit section activities. So whatever activity will be there in the exit section, that will be executed. So when a transition to another state is confirmed, then the activity in the exit action are executed. It means we have used the transition, and if it is showing like yes, it is true, then this exit will be executed. Next is transition section. This will be transition section. So a transition represents the transition between two states. So whenever you have seen that I have connected from one state to another state, so this is the transition between two states. It displays all the transitions linked to the selected state. So here you will get all this linked, all this transition selected to the state. It is used to add the condition based on which to jump from one state to another. So here, based on the transition, here it shows like if it is true, then it will go to this destination state, and if it is false, then it will go to this state activity. So by this way, here transition means condition. So here we are putting the condition, and based on the condition, if it is true, then it will go to that selected state, and if it is false, then it will go to that state. Next is transition designer. So here you have seen that last one is transition. So whenever we are going to connect our two states, like a state or final state also, or multiple state also, then we get that transition, because we can connect our states with transition, and in the transition we get option to write our condition, write our actions. So whenever we click on transition, then we get a list of sections there to write the condition, write the action. So that is called transition designer. It means we can design our transition. So transitions are created by dragging a line from one state to another. It is expanded when you double click them. It has various sections. So whenever we double click on that transition, it will be opened. It means the transition designer will be opened. First time when we connect, then that is called transition, and when we double click on that, then that is called transition designer, and we can design that transitions there. And we can just do that by dragging a line from one state to another. It means we can just connect from one state to another state. Here you can see this is the transition designer. When we click on any transition, then we get this type of option like the source, trigger, condition, action, and then destination, and the last one is add shared trigger transition. So here we have the source. It means from which state this transition is coming, and to which destination, to which state this, after that this state, this transition will go. So this is the flow. So this transition will show that the condition is getting from the first state and then it will go into the second state. It means destination state. So here it indicates the state from which this transition originate. It means from which state it starts. Second is trigger. So trigger, typically the trigger is an activity that waits for some type of event to occur, but it can be any activity or no activity at all. Here in the trigger we can put the activity or we can leave this blank also. If we don't have anything to write here, then it's okay. You can go ahead and you can put the condition here without using any activity inside this trigger area. A transition's trigger is scheduled when the transition source state is entry action is completed. So this trigger, you will be thinking that when this trigger area will be executed. So here showing that a transition trigger is scheduled when the transition source state entry action is complete. So whenever the source, it means here you can see the state is, it means whenever the action the entry action part of this state has been completed, then after that this trigger will be executed, right? And then it will go to the transition part. It means this condition section. Condition, this section is used to apply the condition. As I already told you that transition is used to apply the condition. This is just condition. Once the triggered activity completes, so whenever this trigger part is executed, after that this condition will be executed. So once the trigger activity completes, the condition is evaluated. If there is no trigger activity, then the condition is immediately evaluated. It means if there is no activity inside this trigger section, then directly it will execute the condition part. So as you know that this is blank, if the trigger section will be blank, then condition will be executed. And if there will be activity, then this will complete this first step and then it will start the condition section. Next will be the action part. This action area, it specifies the activity that is executed when the trigger activity completes and the condition evaluates to true. So here you can see when the condition evaluates to true. So when the trigger activity completed, then this activity, when the trigger activity will completed and this condition is executed, and if it is true, then this action part will be executed. Same as like if 2 minus 2 equal to 0, so this is true. So if it is true, then it will go to the action side. It means this action area. And if it is not, then again it will go to the trigger area of the source state. So here you can see if condition evaluates to true, then this action will be executed. Otherwise directly it will exit from there. The next one is destination. Destination, it indicates the state that the state machine transitions to after the transition complete. It means here showing after the completion of this state, it shows that after the transition completes, it will go to the this destination, right? So source is this. After completion of this source, it will go to the destination side. Like same as we have 1, 2, 3 state, then we have linked our first state to the second state, or we have linked our first state to the final state. Then based on the transition, based on the condition, it will go to the destination. If that transition linked to the final state, it means the exit area, then directly it will exit from there. And if that is true, then that will go to the another state, that is like second state. So based on the destination, so here you can see all this destination, source, condition, action, all will be there here. So I will show you one by one here practically. Now the shared transition, shared trigger transition, the last one you will see here. The shared trigger transition are the set of transition which share the same trigger event. So this is the trigger event. Whenever you are using this the first activity, first state activity, then whatever trigger will be there, that will be shared. So the new transition will share the same trigger as the initial transition, but it will have a unique condition. So every transition will have the unique condition. We cannot use the same condition in more than one transition. Shared transition can also be created from within the transition designer by clicking add shared trigger transition at the bottom of the transition designer, and then selecting the desired target state from the available state to connect drop down. So here you will get the option here at the last. If we have the add shared trigger transition option, whenever we'll click on that, so we will get the option to connect through the transition. Now the last one is final state. Final state represents a terminating state in the state machine. Is called a final state, right? So whenever we are going to complete that or exit from that state, that is called final state. It means that is the last step of the state machine. It ends the state machine cycle, right? So whenever we have the option is final state at last, and whenever that final state is executed, it means you can understand the state machine cycle is end. It represents the point at which the workflow is complete. So that is the at any location, if the final state is there, it means at that point that state machine workflow will be completed and that will be closed. So this activity has only an entry area which holds the activity that are to be performed when the state is entered. It means you can say that this final state has only one entry area, and in that area we can write our activity to close the workflow, to close the applications. You can say to kill the processes. So everything you can use here as per your requirement. So it has no exit section. Here you can see we have used the start node. From it will start from there, then go to the state, and based on condition it will go to the state, and then after that final state. So whenever it is going to the final state, it means this is the last point of the workflow. So first we'll start with a simple one, simple state machine with a single transition. We cannot add this state machine here. It means inside the workflow we cannot use another workflow like same state machine workflow. If we have already used this one, then we cannot drag and drop this. First thing. Second, we cannot add this final state as an initial state. Let me try to connect here. You are getting here, we are not getting an option to connect here. If you are going to see here, right click, and we are not getting option to set as initial state. So this final state always will be in the end, at the end. So always only a state activity will be the initial state. So we can write here, and then we can use the final state also directly, and we can connect here. So first, whenever we'll connect this, it means this is our transition. Whenever we'll connect from one state to another state, it means one state to any state, like a state, final state or any state, then this node will be the transition, or that is called condition. So here you can see in the display name, this is T1, it means this is the transition 1, and here you are getting option to write the condition, like on what condition this will go to the final state, or on what condition this will again go to the state itself. So here you can see here, if you are not connecting this, then we are getting error, and it is showing state must have at least one transition. Here we can use one state also to connect. So now you can see here we have connected. Now we have a state transition 1, and we have connected, and we have marked this as a initial state, and this is our next state. So here now you can see here again, here we are getting that state machine, this state must have at least one transition. So why? If we have used already one transition, then why it is asking for the again another transition? Because we are not going to use final state. It means this is not our end. So if we need to use our final state, then we have to connect this state machine, this state activity to the final state. Then we have to use one transition. We must have to use one transition. Otherwise we cannot connect this state to final state. Then we should have this transition added here. So that's why we will just take one final state here and we'll drag and drop here, and then this validation message has been cleared. It means we will not getting any warning message here. Again, the next thing, if you are going to again try adding one more state activity, then again it will ask you to add one transition, because every state activity must have one transition. So you have to take care of this always. You will have to use this one transition. It means, or every state machine at least have one final state. It means you cannot you cannot make a logic of your state machine without the help of final state. It means if we have started our steps from here, if we have started our state machine workflow, then it must have one exit section. It means it must have a final. If a start, then we should have the close things. Then this is the final, and then here it is done. Now our workflow is done. So first the example was the state machine. Here the example is simple state machine with single transition. So I'm going to show you here. So let me first close all these things. So we need to take at least one transition. So we'll directly take one final state activity and we'll drag and drop. So one state activity with one transition and with one final state. So this is our very simple example, so that you can understand how to use this state machine activity, same as another workflow like sequence and flowchart. So you know that you have learned about the flowchart. The same as this is also same as that, but here we are getting different type, like event driven manner. In flowchart workflow, we are getting option like start, and then we connect one activity to the start, and then again we take another activity and then we connect like that. But here in this state machine workflow, we are just getting one starting node to connect here, but after that, whenever we'll drag our line to connect from one state to another state, then that node is called transition, and that should have the condition. First time, this is our initial state. We can change the name initial. So this is like we can use our activities, any activities inside this one, to initialize the value. So if you have used in flowchart to initialize the value, like pass the sheet name to one variable, pass the folder path to one variable, pass the file name to one variable, pass the string to one variable. So like if you are initializing any value, then you can use here in the initial state. Or if you are working on any simple project, taking the data from the user and showing in message box. So here in the initial state, in the entry section, we'll take one activity, so that first time this section will be executed. So we are going to take one message box, so that will show that this entry section has been executed, so that you can understand when this section is executing and when exit section is executing. So here I am writing entry section has been executed, right? And now I am going to put the same thing here in the message in the exit section, and here I will take here that is exit section has been executed now. So we are going to take example of taking the name from the user and then show in message box. So now here we have the transition, that is condition. In the trigger section, I am going to take input dialog box. I will tell you later why I am going to use input dialog box here in the transition, why I have not used in this initial state. So I am going to take this here input dialog box. Here I will write enter name, and then here I write please enter your name, and then I will take one variable, and that is name, and here in the condition I will write if name not equal to Manish Pandey, if name not equal to Manish Pandey, then what will happen? Then it will go to this section, and if, let me try with the equal to, if name equal to Manish Pandey, then we'll take one message box here and we'll show in the condition in the action section that if user had passed Manish Pandey, and here it will check if name equal to Manish Pandey, it means user has passed Manish Pandey, and here also we are going to check the condition if Manish Pandey equal to Manish Pandey. Yes, if it is true, then this section will be executed. So here it will write hello Manish Pandey, and if it is false, then what will happen? Then the trigger will be executed. It means this transition trigger will be executed, as I already told in the theory that if this is true, then action will be executed. If this is not true, then the transition trigger will be executed. So I'm going to show you here. So first I'm going to change the name of this transition. You can change from here, and you can directly put the condition here if you don't want to use any activity inside the transition. Then you can directly put the condition here, and you can change the transition display name. So here I'm going to put here true. If it is true, then in the final state we will write one message box that all states have been executed. So here in the entries final state, we can write here for the kill process, we can write here close application, all this type of message box or anything we can write here. Let me run this. So what will happen if we will run this here project, and then it will ask for the name. First it will show the message box, this entry section has been executed, then it will check for the condition. So let me show you here. So here showing entry section has been executed. It means, as I already told you, entry means whenever the workflow will be started, so first it will enter into the entry section of the first state. It means initial states. So whatever activity will be there inside that initial state entry section, that will be executed. Right now here it will not go to the exit section of the initial state. It will first go to the transition section, and first it will run the trigger. It will ask for here is asking for the name. I am passing here Manish Pandey, the exact thing whatever the condition is there. So what will happen if I will press enter, then it will check the condition. If Manish Pandey equal to Manish Pandey, then it will go to the action part. It means it will show the message like hello Manish Pandey. So now what happened, it is showing the exit section. It means initial part has been closed, right? It is going to the exit section. It means the condition is true, that's why first it is closing the initial state like first one, because now after that the destination will be the final state. That's why first it is closing the source one, closing all this activity of the source, and then it will show hello Manish Pandey, and then it will go to the final state, and then here you can see the all states have executed. It means that's the part of final state, and then workflow will be completed. So this is the steps of the state machine. First it will run this one of the any state entry section, and then it will go to the transition, whatever transition will be there, then it will run this trigger part, right? and then it will check for the condition. If condition is true, then it will go to the initial state and it will run this one, and then it will close the part of initial state. It means now there is no use of initial state, it has completed the exit section. After that it will go to the action part. It means it is true, then it will go to the action part, it will show hello Manish Pandey, and then after that here you can see in the transition, if it is true, then destination will be final state. So let me show you here. So if it is true, then it will go to the destination is final state. And what is the final state? We have taken an activity to show the message like all states have executed, right? So by this way the state machine works. And why I have taken the input dialog box here in the transition, I can take in the initial states also, but why I have taken here in the transition, I am going to tell you now. Here what will happen if user is not passing Manish Pandey, then again it will ask for the to pass the name. It means it will say that that is wrong, and then again it will execute it until condition is true. Let me run this. So first it has executed the entry section, and then here I am not passing the same name, I am just passing here Manish, not Pandey. So what will happen this time? Condition will be false. Got it? So condition will be false. That's why first again it's going to the trigger part of the transition, then again it will, if I am putting something different, again condition will be false, then again that section will be executed. And if I will write here the same, it means condition will be true, then it will go to the initial states exit section, and then that will be executed. It means exit section has been executed, that has been closed now, and then it will show the action part, message box, and then closed. Next thing, so I think now you have learned the use of state machine, the simple one. Here you can see it is showing two like icon like this. This is for entry section, this is for exit section. Here showing in the initial states we have taken two things. In entry section we have used message box, and in the exit section we have taken message box. If you open here, so you will see here in entry section we have the message box, and exit we have the message box. The same thing it is showing here also, and in the final state we have taken message box. Here showing entry message box. Right, now the next thing, that is a state machine with multiple transition. So let me take more than one transition. So first here we have taken for the true, and if it is false, then we'll take another transition for the false statement. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this input dialog box inside the initial state, and I'm going to put here, and now I'm going to write here enter name, please enter name, and we'll take the variable is name. And then here if it is true, then it will go to the exit section like the final state, and in the true we'll write name equal to Manish Pandey, then it will go to the, it will show the message box, and then it will go to the destination will be final state. And based on the second example, we need to take another transition. So I'm going to take another transition from the same initial state. So we'll take one, and then I'm going to connect with the self like the same initial states. And now I'm going to take this as a, if it is false, false. So here I'm going to write this right here, that if name not equal to Manish Pandey. So now you can think here, previously what was there, like in the true section here in the transition we have written the trigger. So that time if condition was true, then it was going to the action part and then final state like the destination. And now we have taken this one in the initial section here, and then I have taken one transition connected with the itself here. So if the condition equal to true, then it will go to the true part like final state, and if it is false, then again it will go to the initial states, and again it will run the both things like message box and input dialog box. So you can connect like this also. Let me run this and I can show you. So first time entry section has been executed, and then it will ask for the name because we have taken input dialog box in the initial states. Now I am writing the full name Manish Pandey, and now I am going to run this. So what will happen, it will check for the condition. If it is true, then it will go to the final state. It means everything is going good. So okay, exit section has been executed, and then it, hello Manish Pandey, and then it will go to the final state, that is all states have been executed, and now done. Now I am going to again run this, and here I will pass the false name. Just I am going to pass here Manish. Then exit section has been executed, right? Then what will happen, the condition has been checked. It means Manish not equal to Manish Pandey, right? So it means that was false, so it will go to the initial state again. So what will happen, again it will execute the message box of the entry section, and then it will execute the input dialog box from the initial states. Now you can see here again it's asking for the name. Now I am going to pass here the second name, another name. Again what will happen, if it is false, then again it will go to the initial states. Now I am passing again the true section, then it will show my name and then completed. So by this way we can connect the transition with the itself, like the self state. So this is called self transition, and we have taken two transition here. Now you have seen the example of simple state machines with the multiple transitions. Now I am going to show you the another example, that is example of more than one state activity. So here currently we have taken only one initial states. Now I am going to take another activity, another state activity. So I am going to connect one more with state. I am going to drag and drop this, and I will connect directly with this one. So if I will drag and drop this, it will be automatically added with here. So now you can see here so again it will ask for the name, entry section, it will ask for the name. If it is true, then it will go to this state. If it is false, then again it will ask for the name. So now you can take multiple state here, you can connect. So here I am going to write here, this is for the second state. So again I am going to take one message box, and this section will be executed. State 2 entry section. So I am just showing you here only the basic example, simple example, so that you can understand how to use state machine. Let me run this. So what will happen if you run this, then first this initial states, it means this entry section will be executed. It will ask for, it will show the message box, and then it will ask for the name. Then we'll enter the name. If it is true, then it will go to the state, and then it will go to the final state. If it is false, then again it will ask for the name. It means it will show the input dialog box. Here we can connect, or we cannot connect also. If we will not connect, then also the destination is showing here final state. So no issue, we can just run this, and this time I am going to pass here the name Manish Pandey, so that we can see the second state has been is going to execute or not. So you can see here, first time the it has checked the condition and it is true. That's why initial state exit section has been executed. Then it will go to the action section of transition. It will show that hello Manish Pandey, because that is the action. If condition is true, then what will be the action? Okay, then it is going to the state 2 entry section executed. Here I think we have missed to write 2 because my number lock was off. Now okay, then it's showing all states have been executed and then done. I am going to show you here. Here you can see I missed to write here 2. Right, now run this again. I am going to show you, no issue. Enter section asking for the name Manish Pandey, exit section hello Manish Pandey, and then state 2 entry section has been executed. And then this is the activity inside the entry section of final state, and then done. If again we are not passing the correct name, then what will happen? Exit section has been executed, and then again it will execute the same thing from the initial states. Let me now complete this. Because you have seen here I have connected. If it is false, then again it will ask for the name. This is same as flowchart. You have seen in the flowchart that we have we connect. If we need to loop through the activity, if it is false, then we can connect again with the first. Then it again after the executing this part, it will go to that section. So this is the same as the flowchart. Right, now the another example is state with 2 final state activity. It means we can use 2 final state activity in the state machine. So here I am going to take one final state so that I can show you how to use 2 final state inside the. So as I already told you that the project, this state machine should have at least 1 final state. So now I am going to take this here and I am going to now connect this here. It means if this is false, it means if you are passing incorrect name, then it will exit from the loop, and then it will go to the final state, and then it will show in the message box and will show that you have entered wrong name. So if you are passing wrong name, then it will go to the final state, and if you are passing the correct name, then it will go to the first. It will execute all this section, and then it will go to the final state. Let's run this. So first we need to check the both final states. So first I will pass the wrong name. So I will pass here just Manish. Okay, so here it's showing exit section has been executed. Now you have entered wrong name. So this final state has been executed. Now if we'll pass the valid name, then it will go to the first final state activity. Right, it means if it is true, then it will go to by this way, by this route. You can say that this is the route, or this is the step. This initial states, it will follow this step. If it is true, then it will go to this. If it is, then after that it will go to this one. And if it is false, then it will go to the final state. Right. So by this way we can write the logic. We can think about that, and then we can use this state machine. So we'll take one example, that is guessing number game using a state machine. First we'll generate a random number, and that will show like 5, 10, 15, 20 based on the given range. So if we'll ask UiPath to generate random number between 1 to 50, then it can generate the number like 4, 5, 10, 15, 45, like that. And then we will ask player to enter the guess number. So first we will generate the number, and then second we will ask user or player to enter the guess number, and then we'll compare both number. So first we'll check if the number is, if user has, it means player has passed the bigger number and that is not matching with the random number, then we will ask player to try a smaller number. And second, next is try bigger number. So if user is passing a smaller number and the random number is bigger, then we'll ask user to try bigger number. And if user is passing correct number, it means we'll show the message box like you won the game or you guessed correctly. So we'll start here. First I will show you how it works and what is guessing number game. So let me show you the demo I have already created here. So here if you see, we have taken initialize for the random number, then guessing number, and then final state, and we have three condition: try bigger, try smaller, and correct guess. So let me run this first. So here you can see it is showing that enter guess number, enter number between 1 to 100. So here first I as a player, I am passing here 50. It means my guessing number is 50. So might be what will happen here, it will check with the random number. So I don't know that what is the random number, but here I am passing, might be it is correct. So if it is correct, it means I won the game. So let me try here. So here it's showing your guess number is too small. It means I am just passing 50. It means I will have to enter more than 50. So I am going to type here 80. So now here saying your guess is too big. It means now I have to enter 70. Now again it's big. Then 65. This is also big. 55. This is too small. It means 60. So congratulations, you guessed correctly. The number was 60. So what happened? The random number was 60, and here after too many tries I have entered 60, and now I won the game. So game finished. So I am going to show you how to do that here. So first we'll take one state machine from the new file here, and now I will put the name of that guessing number game. This is just a name, you can pass anything. So now here as per the game requirements, we need two things. One for the generate the random number, second for we'll ask user to enter the number. So we need two things. And then so first we'll take one state activity, and that will be our initial number, initial state, and second is for the ask user to pass the number, and this is for generate the number. And then we'll take last final state, so that after end this workflow will be ended and the game will be end, right? So first here we'll change the name, that generate random number, or we can write like initialize value something. So here we have to write one VB expression to generate the number. So if we'll here we'll take one variable, and that will be integer. So we'll go here in the variable section and we'll change the variable type, that will be 32, integer 32, right? And here we can change the scope from guessing random number to guessing this type to the complete here. And now here we'll pass the expression, that is our function. There is a function to generate the number, random number, that is called random function. So for that we need to write here new and then random. So here this is a function, open bracket, close bracket, dot next open bracket. Here you will see function random dot next max value as integer. So either we can write here maximum value, or we can start with the comma. It means minimum value. Here you can see mean value as integer comma max value as integer. So here I am putting here to generate the number between 1 to 50. So what will happen? The random number will be generated one by one whenever we will run our workflow. That will generate the number with in given specified range. It means from 1 to 50. So it could generate 35, 45 like that. So first, now we have the random number, and the second thing, we need a guess number from the player. We'll take one input dialog box so that user can pass the value here. So we'll take input dialog box, and here we'll write enter guess number, and here we'll write please enter any number between 1 to 50. So here you are asking user to enter the number between 1 to 50 only, right? And then here we'll take one variable, that is guess number, and that will be integer 32 also. And we are not going to write anything in the condition because this is not required, so you can leave it blank. You can leave it all these things also in the exit section. You can leave it here also. Now we have three conditions. First, we are taking correct number. It means if correct guess, then in the condition we'll write here if guess number equal to random number. So if guess number equal to random number, then we'll take one message box and we'll write here your guess number is correct. You won the game. You won the game, right? And the next one is we need another transition, and for that we'll connect from here to here, and that will be try smaller. So here we'll say, so we'll take here if our guess number is greater than a random number. So if user is passing 5 and the random number is 3, it means our number is greater than, we'll ask user to enter the smaller number. So here we'll take one message box, we'll say your guessing number is bigger, please try smaller. And now here we'll take another transition, and here we'll write try bigger. So if our random number is bigger and our guess number is small, then we'll write here, we'll show the message, the please enter bigger number. So if guessing number is less than a random number, which means user is passing 5 and the random number is equal to is 10, then we'll ask user to enter bigger number. So here we'll take one message box, and here we'll write your guess number is too small, try bigger, right? And after that, if it is correct, then here we'll write game finished. Thank you for playing the game. It means here if you are writing random number, now you can see here this is the expression to generate the random number. New random dot next 1 to 50. So next 1 to 50 means it will generate the number within a specified range. So if we'll change the number, then it could generate the number between 1 to 100 also, 1 to 200 also. So this is the random function. Using this you can generate the number. Now here you can see the next one is, it is going to the state. We will ask the user to guess to enter the number, that is guess number. If it is correct, then it will go to the final state. This is done. We can run here. I'm going to type here 45. So here we are getting message that your guessing number is bigger, try smaller. So that now we'll write here 40, so it is still bigger. Then we'll pass here 30, still bigger. Then 20, still bigger. Then 10, too small. Now we'll type here something bigger, 15. So now it's showing your guess number is bigger, try smaller. So now we'll type here 13. So here showing your guess number is correct, you won the game, right? Game finished, thank you for playing the game. So what was happened here? Initialized number was 13. It means the random number was 13, and then we asked user to pass the number. So after so many tries, user had passed 13. So here in the correct guess, we have written a condition like guess number equal to random number, that then we'll show the message your guess number is correct, you won the game, right? So by this way you can create this type of guessing number game in a state machine. So I hope you understand this one, how to use a state machine and how to use 2-3 state activity, one final state, and more than one transition here. Global exception handler in UiPath. You will have seen this type of error in your project, like runtime execution error. It has a break, retry, ignore, and continue button. This type of exception you can handle using this global exception handler. We have the option to retry, ignore, continue, abort that. So let's start. What is the today's agenda? We'll learn what is global exception handler, how to use global exception handler in UiPath, how to use global handler workflow, how to retry, ignore, or abort the faulted activity when exception occurs. So what is global exception handler? Global exception handler is a type of workflow which is used to handle the errors encountered in project. So this is a type of workflow same as your sequence, flowchart, and state machine. So we have the 4 workflow. When error occurs, it redirects to the global handler workflow to log the error and handle the errors. The name is global exception handler. So as we know that we have the try catch, finally that activity, and we have the retry scope and all these things, to handle the exception. But what is the use of global exception handler, and why the name is there, the global? So global means we can use this globally in your project. It means you will have to take only one global exception handler workflow, and it is able to catch your all exceptions. It is able to handle all the exception in the project. If any type of error encountered in your project, then directly it will redirect to the global exception handler workflow, and then this workflow will handle that errors. So global exception handler needs to define once in the project. It will execute every time an activity fails to execute. We have to take only one global exception handler workflow in the project, and every time it will execute when any activity fails. It helps you to execute a workflow or activity every time an execution error occurs. You can choose option to ignore the exception, retry, break, or continue the execution. The entry point of a process, usually main.xaml, cannot be declared as an exception handler. It will not give you option to declare this as an exception handler. If you right click on that main XML file, it will not allow you to mark this as a global handler. So apart from the main XML file, you can take any workflow as a global exception handler. When you add a global handler workflow, it adds all required activities, variable, and arguments as a template. This is same as the Re framework, because when you are going to create a Re framework template, then it adds all the required activity, all the required sequence, everything. It will have that in the template. So same here in the global handler workflow, it has the few limited and the important activities inside that template. So do not delete that variables and arguments from the global handler workflow template. There are a few options can be used in UiPath Studio to handle the errors. Abort. So it stops the execution after running the current handler. So if you use this action in your global exception handler, then it will stop that execution after running the current handler. I will tell you about this, how to use this and how it works. Now if you use ignore, then it will ignore the exception and continue the execution from the next activity. Let's suppose you are getting an error on the one activity and it seems that you are not able to handle that, or UiPath is not able to handle that. So you can take this option ignore and it will skip that activity and execute from the next activity. Now retry. So it will retry executing the current activity which is faulted. So if you select this, if you take this option retry, so every time it will retry that current activity which is faulted up to the specified time. Or if you will not specify the count, the time, so it will retry. So, and the continue, it runs the global exception handler workflow. If you select the continue, every time it will run that global exception handler workflow and it will rethrow the exception. If project.json file has exception handler workflow, and like this is the line, if the project.json file has this line, it means your project has global exception handler applied. Let's suppose the name of the global exception handler is not the global handler. Let's suppose someone has taken a different name instead of global handler. So you can go to the project.json and you can see here the exception handler workflow, and here's the name. So you can see the name of that workflow. It means your project has global exception handler applied. So workflow name is changed automatically in project.json when you change the global handler workflow name. I will show you how to change that and how it updates in the project.json file. Now let's see all this practically, how to use global exception handler. So let me open the UiPath Studio. So I have already taken the project here, created one project, and now I'm going to take one simple example. I will take one notepad and I will just write there few lines there on that notepad, and then we'll see if the notepad is not available, then what will happen, and if we are not using the try catch activity, then so first I will show you in the debug mode and then I will show you after running that. So for that we are just going to take one type into activity, and then we need to indicate on the screen on the notepad. So for that let me take one notepad here and indicate on the screen, click here, and then here we are just going to type. So it will just go to write on the notepad file. If we'll run this, control F5, it will write here. So it means there is no issue. Now I am going to close this and now run this. So here it is trying to find the element that is notepad, and then once it is not found, then it will throw an error. You can see here it is showing that type into editable text cannot find the UI element. Now to overcome this issue, we can create one global handler workflow here. So we need to take, let's suppose this is the project name global exception handler, and it has the multiple workflow like sequence, multiple flowcharts, because you are working on a project, and that project has multiple workflow files. So in any workflow file, if you are getting an error, then that will redirect to that workflow, that handler workflow file. So for that we need to create that. So we'll go to the new and click on this global handler. So just click here, and by default the name is global handler. If you want to change this, then you can change and create this. So make sure when you are going to create that global handler, so this should be inside your current project. Then create this. Now you can see here this is a template. It has the few things like the log error, log message activity, and the one assign activity. Here we have the result variable, and here it has the error action dot continue. Now we have created this global handler, and it has few things already there. And let's see in the variables. So we have the two variables, answer and retry, and the retry value is 0 first time. Now you can see the arguments. So we have the error info and the results. So error info will be used in the same workflow, and the result will be can be used outside of the workflow. It means in the other workflow. So that's why here it has used the out direction. And the argument type, you can see here it has something different, like UiPath.activities.contracts.error action. So error action means it is the action that I have already told you about, that like ignore, continue, abort, retry, like that. So these are the actions. And now here this is the error info. So the argument type is UiPath.activities.contracts.exception handler args arguments. So this is the arguments type which stores this type of information and the results here. And here in the variables also you can see answer, it has the string, and the retry is an integer number. Here this is the log message. So whenever the error will be thrown, it will redirect to the global handler, and as it will enter into this global handler workflow file, it will log this message error info.exception.toString. So it will log the complete exception, right? So what can we do? We can just remove this, and here we need to take the only message, not complete exception. So we can write here exception.message and then .toString. So it will just show the upper line, that is the message only. Now here you can see choose next behavior. It means after the logging the message, the error message, what will be the next behavior if any error occurred, any exception occurred. So we have the options continue, ignore, retry, abort. We can use anything. So let's suppose if you are getting an error, if you want to continue that error, and we can use this continue as it has already used here, error action.continue. Now ignore, if you want to ignore after the specific time, you can ignore that. So it will execute the next activity. And the retry, so every time it will retry that. And the abort means once it will get that error, it will abort that. It means the execution will be stopped. Now it's up to you which action you want to apply in your workflow. So now I'm not going to change anything. First let's run this. So control F5. Now let's see in the output section here, as we have the error action is continue. so the exception is rethrown. So every time it will rethrow the error. So you can see here it has rethrown the error, and then we are getting the exception here. Now if you want to do some changes in the global handler, so for that go to the global handler and take one assign activity, and here we can take one the retry number, as we have the variable that is retry. So we'll take one the retry count, how many times it retried. So we'll take here the retry variable, and then we have the variable error info, then dot, and then we'll take retry count. So it will take the value retry count from the error info. Every time it will retry, and then it will store the value to this variable retry. So now we have the retry count, and then we can take one if activity to apply the condition, like if we the error count less than 3, then we can retry. So retry means every time up to that time it will go to the find that element, and once it is found, then it will succeed, and then it will go to the next step. And if the greater than 3, then we can take the action as a ignore, or yes, we can take ignore. So it will ignore that error, and then it will go to the next step. So what will happen? So it means sometime what happens, due to the one exception, the rest of the activities is aborted, is not able to execute that. So we can take the ignore one, and then we'll able to at least complete the next step which is required, right? So what we'll do here, we'll take here if retry count, if retry is less than 3, so we need to take one assign activity here, and we can write here the same formula, that is result. It means our result is we are going to retry this. So the variable is result, and we can take here the error action, the same as this, the error action dot continue. So here we have the error action dot. Now we have the 2-3 options here, that is abort, continue, here ignore, you can see this ignore, and then retry, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 option here. So here if less than 3, then I am putting here retry. So this global handler will retry that every time up to the 3 time, and then I'm going to take the same steps, this one, into here in the else part, and I'm going to remove this continue, and I'm going to take the ignore. So what will happen this time, if greater than 3, then it will ignore that activity, that faulted activity, and it will go to the next activity. So first let me try with the continue or abort. So what will happen, if the retry count not less than 3, then the execution will be stopped. Now let's run this. So before running this, I'm going to tell you how to debug this. So if you'll debug, we have the same option, retry, ignore, restart. So if you'll click on retry, it will again re-execute the current activity, that faulted activity. If you'll click on ignore, so it will ignore that exception and continue execution from the next activity, and restart, it means again it will restart from the first activity. So this is the same we have in the debug mode, and same thing we can apply in the running mode. So let me run this, control F5. Okay, so we have got the exception message here, because we have taken not exception, we have taken the exception dot message. It is showing only that message line, and then we have the 3 count, error count. So again it will retry up to the 3rd time, and once the condition will be met, like greater than 3, not less than 3, then it will abort that, it will stop that execution. So this is the 2nd time. So you can see here that we are getting error in the main XML file, and we have written the activities to handle in the global handler, right? We have not written any handler activity in the main XML file. So because of this is global handler, so anywhere in the project, if we have that XML file, that workflow file, it will handle that error. You can see the message, the workflow was aborted by the user due to an error, right? Because we have taken a option to error action dot abort, right? So the last time it was 4th, and that's why it stopped that execution here, right? And now let's suppose here in the main XML file we have any invoke workflow file, and we have taken another workflow, or let's suppose we have a message box. I'm just taking one message box. You can consider that we have the invoke workflow file, and we have the multiple activities here. I'm just taking only one to show you that if we are getting an error here, and if you are using in the else part the ignore, then it will ignore this exception and it will go to the next step. And here we are writing next activity executed. Let's suppose we have another also, so it will execute all these things. After ignoring this exception, it will execute all. So here we need to take the ignore action. So this time exception is ignored and the execution continues from the next activity. It will wait for the 3 times, and then after that it will ignore that exception and go to the next activity. Now let's save this, go to the main. Now let me run this, press Ctrl F5, and let's see the output here. Okay, so next activity executed. It means first exception was ignored, and now it will execute the another activity, that is thank you, right? And then done. And let's suppose it's going to try first time, and that is found the exception, and second time it found that one, then it will execute that. There is no issue. So I'm going to just change the timeout here, target, and I will put here 2 seconds here, so 2000 millisecond. And now clear this and run this. So this time I'm going to open the notepad, Control F5. So after first time error, I'm going to open this notepad. Okay, second time, and this is third time. It found that notepad and it is showing the message box also. Everything is done, right? Now I am going to show you that project.json file here. Open this in the notepad and click OK. Now you'll see here we have the runtime option, that is exception handler workflow. Then the name is global handler.xml. So automatically it writes this global handler XML line in the project.json file. And let's suppose if we have removed this from the project here, go to the project, you can see here it looks like this. The global handler will look like this, something different from the another workflow. You can remove this from the here, remove handler, and now it is same as the normal workflow. And once you will save this and you will open this again, the JSON file, and you see here the workflow name has been removed from here because this project has not any global handler. Now you can see here also. Now again, if you want to mark this as a global handler, then you can right click here and set as global handler. Click here, and then now it is applied. Save this, and again if you see here, you will get that name there. And if you want to change the name, then you can change this, rename here, and you can here change the name as you can write here, error handler. Now press OK, save this, go to the JSON file, and then it will also update in the JSON file here, and the XML file name is errorhandler.xml. I hope you like this video. If you have not subscribed, then please subscribe this and please like this video, and if you have any question, please comment on video. Thank you so much.